So it is Calxiyn and Hunter today, and today we are going to talk about why Raven and Qrow went to Beacon. We found this out in the last episode, and so, kind of like the video about Raven's semblance, I wanted to kind of go more in depth about why they left, I guess. And so, basically what she says is that the Brandwin tribe needed better defense against huntsmen who were coming and kicking their ass. So Grandpa Brandwin, or whatever, decided that they were going to go to Beacon because they were the right age, it was easy peasy, and, like, they needed to learn how to kill huntsmen. And so basically what they did is they, oh, by the way, you guys should become Patreons and come on the Discord server. I don't think I said that. But anyways, so...
my Patreon senses are going off.
And so, like... they went to learn how to kill huntsmen, and who better to teach them than learn how to be a huntsman? Because if you can learn how to be a huntsman, you can learn how a huntsman thinks, and a huntsman acts, and kick their ass. And so that is kind of what we see going on right here.
And not only that, but it appears that they were very good at it.
Yes.
They were, like, top students.
Because they talk about how they were sorted into a team, and then that team was treated by, like, similarly to Team RWBY, where they basically got to do whatever the fuck that they wanted, and they didn't get in trouble. And they got special missions and shit. So we kind of see the comparison between the old team and the new team, and definitely also the favoritism, right? Like, I think that we kind of all, can see that now, so to speak. And so I think that's pretty interesting, personally, anyway. I don't know about you guys. Just because, like, I wanted to do a separate video on the comparisons between Stark and them, but we don't know about Stark that much. We can only kind of see from what Raven told us and, like, from what we think about ourselves, and so this video will also kind of be mixed with that, but I think that it's interesting that, like, you know, Beacon, we've talked about this before, that Beacon has sort of a nefarious history of Ozpin letting in people that should not be there, as in Blake, Jean, and now Raven and Qrow as a comparison, because obviously if they came there to kill huntsmen, they shouldn't have been there to begin with. But I like this motivation for them because it makes sense. It's kind of what everybody thought, not gonna lie. Like, I've seen this in a lot of, like, fan fiction and theory ideas. And that's what I talked about. So, like, I guess, Hunter, like, how much have you seen this in fan fiction exactly?
Okay, so not necessarily that they were in the tribe, because for a very long time, we did not get a lot of
But that
Raven,
they were spies or something, right?
But that they were spies, or they were somehow, like, malicious, or had some sort of secretive past. That happens more than anything, really. You get an awful lot of, like, they were country bumpkins that knew how to fight going into the big city.
Seriously?
Yeah, you gotta surprise...
Why?
That's
like Oscar. That's not Raven and Qrow. They're a little too edgy for that,
well,
I would argue.
I mean, yeah, it was like goth bumpkins. I don't know. Point is that,
what do you
like...
mean goth, but I hate you sometimes.
Because they were kind of edgy as well. Okay. The thing is that when you don't know a lot about the characters, like, yeah, like, who they are in the show, canonically, it, you know, it influences people's fanfiction. But when there wasn't a lot to go on, there wasn't as strong an influence. So you get, like, the bumpkin or, like, the nefarious, but in slightly different reasons. I mean, it's kind of a mix of
everything. But yeah, I've seen the idea before that, like, as soon as we found out they were a part of the tribe, like, I've seen the idea that they snuck into the tribe either as spies for Salem or as spies for somebody else, and then they wanted to go in and kill people, and that's basically, and then they had a change of heart or something. And so, I want to do a separate video on, like, Raven and Qrow being based off of the birds from Norse mythology or whatever. Odin's birds, because I've been meaning to do this theory for a long time, and now we finally have some basis for it. A lot of people had theorized before that Salem was the one that had turned them into birds, and that they were spying for Salem from youth. And so now I think this is a nice sort of, I don't want to say contradiction, but everybody thought that Salem had did something so horrible to them, you know, but now it's Ozpin, and I'm like, that's some good shit. But anyway, they did go in to kill basically other huntsmen, and so now I'm starting to wonder if maybe Raven killed Summer.
That's possible.
Like, I don't know. A lot of people have considered that, but I think it was more that, like, they went to Beacon, and then Raven and Qrow kind of had a change of heart because they had to, because Ozpin turned them into birds.
She's still connected with Ty, though.
Yeah, she is. She's still connected with Ty, and obviously, like, if the bird thing is right, she is connected to Ozpin still, and Ozpin can see stuff that she does when she turns into a birdo.
Do we know that for sure, though?
No, but that's the theory that I'm talking about later, later during the weekend, so we don't know it for sure. But you guys can go watch that when it comes out. A lot of people already know what I'm talking about, though. That, like, Odin had these birds, and they were, like, messenger birds, and he got to see all their shit and stuff. Like, that's kind of the gist. And so we don't know if Ozpin can do that exactly, but there's something that Salem says, like, that they said about Salem, like, every witch needs a crystal ball, and for Salem that is those Seer Grim. But for Ozpin's not a witch, but he's a wizard, so, like, for Ozpin, his crystal ball would be them. And so I think that's interesting, you know? Anyways, the only thing that I don't understand, though, is, like, why Raven would settle down with Ty, I guess. Like, with this, keeping this in mind that they were only at the school to kill people, unless they were like, I don't want to kill anymore, Dad. Like, I don't want to be a part of the tribe.
I'm horny,
I'm in love.
And then I caught feels. Damn it. I imagine it being more like
So, we don't, like, that's the only thing that doesn't really fit in to me. It's because I don't understand why Yang would exist, unless Raven, like, she was gonna be like, I was young and naive once when I loved your father, but now I'm stronger, or something like that. Like, I don't know where that's gonna go.
You laughed like that wouldn't be something that you would write.
What do you mean?
You giggled like, oh, what a line. Like, you wouldn't have written, like,
No.
I was young and I didn't know how to act when I loved your father.
I wouldn't write it like that. Not for Raven, anyway. Maybe for somebody else. But Raven's a bit, she would have been a bit more like, Ty was a fool, and I was too, but the difference is, Yang, is I grew up. Your dad never did. Like, something like that. A little more spicy, you know what I mean? But yeah, I really like what they did here. I like that that's why they were sent. But the thing is that, like, for two people that kind of, like, went with the intention of killing Huntsman, Qrow's not that good. No offense. Like, Tyrion comes in and kind of kicks his ass, and maybe if RWBY wasn't bothering them, it would have turned out differently, but you understand what I mean? Not that Qrow wasn't good, like, obviously he's better, but, like, Tyrion, who I'm guessing didn't go to a huntsman school, maybe it's just because Tyrion's crazy and Qrow fights fair, I don't know. Like, you understand what I'm saying, Hunter? Like, some of the stuff doesn't make sense with their current characterization, that's all. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so, like, what do you think about that? Like, maybe Qrow just wasn't the stronger one. Maybe Raven was the stronger one. And so that's why she was just like, we were good. But then, you know, Qrow kind of, he failed a little bit. It's okay. Like, you know what I mean?
He tried his bestest.
And, like, not that Qrow's sword's impractical or anything, but Raven can do the stabby. You know what I mean? Like, the stabby bits. Like how Adam stabbed Sienna. Qrow can't really stab anybody with that. You know what I mean? He could probably slice them up real good, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know.
It has a pointy end and it could do the job.
No, not his sword. It's like a cloud sword, but like his scythe does. Like the sword version of his scythe, I'm saying.
I know what you're talking about.
But anyway, that aside, I do like the explanation, but at the same time, I have more questions. Like, I'm like, okay, so did Raven just, like, abandon, like, all of that and then fall in love with Ty, but then she realized Ty was, like, an idiot, and so she left him?
Maybe Ty at a time was gonna join the clan. Maybe.
That's another possibility, too. Maybe Ty said that he would join
the... It makes me sound like they're joining the KKK, but I digress.
You know what I mean, though. That's a good point, is that Ty could have been on board with that, but then Ty was like, yeah, then again, and then, you know, that caused some conflicts. You know what I mean? Because maybe Ty was like, oh yeah, joining the bandit sounds so cool, fuck society, and then he grew out of that. You know what I mean? We don't really know yet, but, like, I'm sure that it'll make sense when it happens, but at the same time, not that I'm losing faith in them or anything, I'm just worried. You know what I mean? Like, there's the side that they could do this perfectly, and it could make perfect sense with everything that we established, and then the other side of me is that maybe they didn't think this through entirely. Because, like, I don't know if Raven the murder machine would have been like, sure, Ty, let's get down, or whatever. And intentionally have a kid.
They were teenagers.
Now, that's the other thing.
They were What? You want to, like, specifically them say, yeah, Yang, sorry about that, you were an accident?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
That is sort of the other thing that could have happened, is that Raven was a killing machine, and she just wanted to fuck, and, like, it's okay. You can do that. But then Yang happened, and that's kind of what happened. And that's why she could no longer be a killing machine. There's also a very funny drawing online of Raven having Yang and then throwing her through the portal to die. Like,
yep,
not
I've
even
seen
telling
that one,
him, and
yeah.
it's pretty funny. But yeah, I'm sure that they'll fix it, but right now, I do like it, but I see some issues. That's all that I'm saying. Would you agree? Because I do. I think there's a little problems with some
I
of
would
this.
agree that there are some issues with
Because,
that.
like, and we haven't seen them go from killing machines to growing empathy, and even Raven still seems like an ass. And so it's hard. It's hard to... But again, like, we just found out this information, kind of. Like, everybody sort of expected it. And so we can just wait a little bit before we pass judgment, but I just wanted to get all my thoughts out on that fair and square, front and center, you know, for you guys, to look at. And so anyway, that's pretty much where we're at right now with this. This is kind of a part 1 video, I guess, to talk about, like, why we have another. I want to talk about specifically why Raven probably left high, and then about the Qrow theory in terms of Mun and Hugin, or whatever their fucking names are. I don't know. I don't speak Norse.
I like that presumably you read this theory and yet you never bothered to look up the pronunciation.
Well, why do I need to know how to pronounce it? And
Because
you're
you're
also
fucking
saying it
referencing
wrong,
it.
I think.
Well, but
Somebody on our server has the name, and I call him Munnin. And so he's
Munin.
never corrected me, so I don't know if it's different.
Munin.
Anyway, we'll go over that another time. So I hope that you guys enjoyed. Remember, if you did, you guys should become patrons and join our Discord server. And we will see you later. Bye-bye, guys!